Hello English learners, by the end of this video, you should understand how to use the past perfect in the affirmative, negative, and the interrogative forms. We'll also have an exercise at the end. The past perfect is also called the pluperfect. To understand, we will work on these three sentences. Sentence number 1, Laura had watched a movie before she went to bed. Now, I want you to pause the video and find the first action that happened in the past, the oldest one. So here we have Laura had watched a movie before something, before going to bed, before she went to bed. So the oldest action is watching a movie. So we used had plus the past participle. And then for the second action, we used the past simple. Example number 2. They had prepared the food before we came. So which one happened first? They had prepared the food before we came. So preparing was before coming. And for the third one, here we will not have before, we'll have after. So he slept after he had done all his homework. So through the context, you should know which action happened first. So he slept, okay, after he had done all his homework. So the action that happened first was doing the homework. So he had done, and then he slept. So the past perfect simple is used when we have two actions in the past, where one action happened before another one. For the first action, we use had plus the past participle of the verb. And that is the past perfect. And for the second action, we go for the past simple. Now, for the past participle, as you know, we have regular and irregular verbs. For regular verbs, we will give some examples like visit, talk, finish, want, travel, and accept. We add just ed to all of them. And the good news is that the majority of verbs are regular. We just add ed to them. But be careful to the pronunciation. For example, the verb to visit, we pronounce it as visited. But for talk, we don't say talked, we say talked. Talked, like et at the end. Now, for the irregular verbs, there is no rule when it comes to irregular verbs. For example, we have take and make. Both of those verbs, they differ only in the first letter. So, since take becomes took, logically, make should be mook. But no, make becomes made. So there is no logic. But the good news is that there are many verbs that are similar to each other. For example, we have sell and tell. Sell becomes sold and tell becomes told. Speak and break. Speak becomes spoken. Break becomes broken. Eat and sit. Eat becomes ate, sit becomes sat. Sleep and keep, sleep becomes slept, and keep becomes kept. And there are also other verbs that don't change. For example, we have hit, let, and cut. And for me, I didn't learn them by heart. It's all about practice. You will learn them through reading, listening, and writing. Give it some time, and you will realize they are not difficult after all. Now we will tackle the forms. So the affirmative form, we use had plus past participle. Examples, Laura had watched a movie before she went to bed, and they had prepared the food before we came. Had plus watched. Had plus prepared. For the negative form, we use had plus not plus past participle. So the previous sentences, for the first one, we will have Laura had not watched a movie before she went to bed. You can either say had not or hadn't, no problem. Second example, they had prepared the food. They had not prepared the food before we came. And then we have the interrogative form, the question form. We will have had plus subject plus the past participle. We start with had. You can either understand it by starting with had or the inversion. We invert the auxiliary had with the subject. So, Laura had watched a movie Had Laura watched a movie before she went to bed? They had prepared the food. Had they prepared the food before we came? Now we move on for the exercise. For this exercise, I will give you a sentence in one of the forms and you will change it to the other forms. So, number one, I will give you a sentence in the affirmative form. He had played football before he took a shower. I want you to pause the video and change it to the negative and the interrogative form. So, for the negative form, it will be he had not played football before he took a shower. And for the interrogative form, it will be had he played football before he took a shower? Don't forget the question mark. And also the capitalized H of had. Second sentence, it will be in the negative. She had not corrected the letter before she sent it. In the affirmative, it will be she had corrected the letter before she sent it. In the interrogative, had she corrected the letter before she sent it? And for the last one, it will be in the interrogative form. Had Mike revised his lessons before he took the exam? In the affirmative, it will be Mike had revised his lessons before he took the exam. And in the negative, Mike hadn't revised his lessons before he took the exam. This lesson is explained in French too. You will find the link in the description. And by the way, all grammar lessons are explained both in French and English. This was a short video about the past perfect. Later on, we could upload longer videos with more examples and exercises. And why not even doing some live videos where we can explain and answer your questions live. We're just waiting for other English learners to join us. So keep working hard, do your best, and never give up. Don't forget that practice makes perfect. Good luck and see you soon with another video.